You're listening to Pet World Radio, and this is the Addictive Reef Keeping with Tyler Johnson. Stay tuned for live chats, expert guests, tips and tricks, product reviews, and many more topics.
Alright guys, so the light rail is installed on my 12-gallon long, which basically sits above my 40. If you guys haven't seen my multi-tank system, this is kind of how it turned out. All plumbs back into my sump there. I got a skimmer and another tank over there. But that's another video, guys. I'll talk about how I did all that. This video is about this light rail right here, so let's go up there and check it out. As you guys can see, these are the ABI 12-watt LEDs. This is 6 blue, 6 white, and this is all blue. Each LED is 12 watts. I got 5 of them up here. I can technically run this tank off of 3 of them, and I'll show you guys that in a second, how I have it timed and everything. But there's the light rail up there. I could have done better on the spray paint, but it wasn't that big of a concern to me. I just wanted to get it up there and get her done. The cool thing about these guys is I can adjust them anywhere I want to go, which makes it real simple to get light in certain areas. So you guys can also, build structures above your own tanks at home, not just for a 12-gallon long. Let's say you got to light a certain area. You could get, 2 blues and 2 white blues and put them, in a pattern of 4 and light the top of a rock, or, 10, 12 inches down into your tank in certain spots. So that's a good idea. Let's go check out the wiring on this. Well, here's the power strips and timers that I have for the light rail here. I was going to hook everything up to my reef keeper, but I decided to make things just a little bit more simple, having them on the outside of the tank where I can see them and adjust them a little bit easier than I can through the module itself. And also, wire spacing down below was kind of tight with all of this stuff that I have there right now. So here's the timers. I got my 3 daylight bulbs plugged in right here. As you guys can see, when those turn off, those 2 right there stay on and give the tank a nice blue look. So I run those lights for about 12 hours. So we can just unplug this, and you can run this tank with just those 3 bulbs right there. Lights it up really good. I'll go ahead and hop down and show you guys what it looks like. So as you guys can see, those 3 lights light it up really well. If I was to change out those other 2 blues for these bulbs, this tank would be pretty much ready for anything. But I kind of like the blue look at certain times of the day. I also really like this look too, so I'm gonna have to put those on timers as well. But that's pretty much the light, guys. I mean, you could even do simple things like have these 2 bulbs come on, then these 2 bulbs come on, and you could do sunset effect on your own tank and just control these with multiple timers and things like that. But pretty simple design. I got about $100 in this whole entire light rail setup right here, and probably about $120 for this whole entire light. So you can build a light like this for your 12-gallon or even 10-gallon or even bigger tanks for, not very much money. Alright guys, so Tyler Johnson here. I figured I'd show you guys how I made my $25 Par38 light fixture for my 12-gallon long Nano. Now this kind of design that I have, guys, can work for really any tank. You could build structures that can hold, 20, 30, 40 bulbs. I'm building a structure that holds 5 bulbs. Kind of going to build a unit just like this. Each of these T's is threaded, and these water resistant sockets thread right in there, and then they got a neutral and a hot, which I will cut off the end of these extension cords and wire these all individually through each T. So I'm gonna have the capability of kind of doing the sunset effect. You know, I can have two of my lights turn off on one side of the tank, but the main reason I'm doing it is because two of these fixtures are going to be all blues, and then these three are going to be blue whites. So I want these to run for like 12 hours, and then maybe just let these run for about 7 hours, 8 hours or so during the middle of the day. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to show you guys how to wire this all up and build a light rail for my light canopy. And you know, hopefully this will inspire you guys to build something similar to this, or give you guys some ideas. Basic parts that I have are some blue wire nuts, zip ties. I'm going with 3/4, that way I can fit all my extension cords in there. Got some plastic straps here so they don't corrode. One thing to think, guys, these are only about $2 altogether. I got 5 extension cords for like $8, and the wire alone just for lamp cable is $8. So this is a big savings. It also saves me a lot of time. It's going to be clean. Everything's going to look the same. So I'm going to go with those styles to save money. So basically, guys, I'm going to get to installing this all together. At the very end, we'll paint it, and I'll show you guys how it operates. So step one, guys, I'm gonna start cutting my 3/4 pipes. Figure out your spacing, make sure that the bulbs aren't gonna hit, and I just dry fit everything. There's no sense in gluing it. That way, for maintenance reasons, I can pull it all apart. So I'll show you guys how I wire these up. So as you guys can see, I have unraveled my extension cord, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here so I can have this cable as long as possible. So after cutting your cord, you need to establish which one is the neutral. And by doing this, guys, on most lamp cords, there is one cable that has a bunch of ribs on it, and what that necessarily means is that's the neutral, and the other one that's solid is your hot wire. Same thing here, guys. White neutral, black hot. So basically what we need to do is we need to kind of daisy chain all of these together. So I'm going to go ahead and slide on my first PVC part, and then slide on my T and stick it out that T, and basically wire this all up, and then I can pull everything and thread everything tight after that. So I'm going to go ahead and thread this. So as you guys can see, I have threaded the first one through. Another trick too, guys, is go ahead and cut your other extension cords and thread those through. As you guys can see, I have strung the other remainder 4 already through. Now I can slide on, you know, a piece of PVC and then a T and a piece of PVC and a T. But what we'll do is we'll go ahead and stop here, and I'll go ahead and wire this one up so you guys can see it. I'm going to go ahead and split these wires and show you guys how to wire this up real quick. I've split the wire, and I have basically stripped the jacket off. Now, guys, here's a little trick. I know it looks ugly, but stagger your connections. It's a lot safer. If the wire nut was to come off, they wouldn't be at the same height and risk touching each other. So stagger your connections. It'll even help you get it through the T easier. So I'm going to go ahead and wire nut these together, and I'll show you what that looks like. As you guys can see, I have twisted the wires together and then threaded on this wire nut, and it's a really good connection. I do recommend using butt splices. I didn't want to spend the money on the crimper, which is about $25 for a really nice one. I wanted to keep things nice and cheap, and I'm only into this $1.58. So I'm going to continue on wire nutting these, and then we'll thread it back in there and see what it looks like. So as you guys can see, we got it stuffed in there, and what I'll do is I'll just slide this pipe over those and continue this process 5 more times. Now guys, you could have the wires exit out both ends, so maybe I could just have 2 wires going out this end and 3 wires out this end to make things a little bit easier. But other than that, this project is real simple to do. I do recommend grounding those, which is something that I will be doing. You can basically just ground them to 18 gauge wire and then run that all the way down to one of those titanium grounding rods that you plug into your power strip. Usually those units have little eye hooks that come off that you could attach a lead to, so you could daisy chain all these together and then give it a good ground. So that's something I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to get back to installing these so I can basically spray paint this and install it in the cabinet and show you guys what it looks like all lit up. Alright guys, so I just got done building or painting the rest of this light bar setup, and I gotta say, I think this thing turned out really sweet. It's totally adjustable anywhere I need to shoot. All the cables are long enough, and it's just really clean looking. So guys, that's how I built my do-it-yourself light rail for my 12-gallon long. If you guys have any questions, just post a comment down below. Other than that, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, like the video, and come join us on Addictive Reef Keeping on Facebook, and we can help you through your light design. So happy reefing, guys.